that's where she went and made it personal, even more personal with Shadowkisses, because, the guy chose you over her, and her reaction was, "You're a whore."
She straight up, even though the guy was the one who asked me out, I had nothing to do with him asking me out. She straight up came to me in the hallway and she goes, "You're a dirty whore," and then walks away.
And those of you who know Shadowkisses pretty well know how scrappy she is, and she doesn't take to, like, you know, if you want to create a problem with Shadowkisses, she'll be happy to return the aggression.
I'll end it. There is no starting and finishing things with me. I just end it.
So that was a bad move on Chunk's part. However, mind you, I was able to temporarily diffuse the situation because I was kind of the peaceful, like, passive, like, you know, I'm not her friend anymore. We don't have to deal with her anymore. You know, it's fine. We'll just not be around her anymore. We don't have to do anything.
And meanwhile, I'm like, we're gonna go to her house and we're gonna put plastic spoons that have been scooped peanut butter and stick them in the lawn and break the spoons off.
I was like, no, please, no. You're just like, vengeance! But, like,
there must be blood!
But it was fine. I finally calmed her down, and we moved on with our lives because you got your man.
Mm-hmm.
She was out of both of our lives, and it was fine for a couple months. Everything went on fine, and it was fine. Until she started dating one of our mutual guy friends. And, it worried us, not gonna lie, because we knew what Chunk was like. Well, first of all, we're like, is he actually dating her because he wants to, or is he scared? And, like, you know, he's one of those timid guys who's, like, just happy to have a girlfriend, so we're like, this isn't gonna end well. And basically, some of our other friends that we knew online, who were super active online, had informed us that, you know, she's been dating our friend for probably a month or so already, and since the time that they officially started dating, she had been seen on various online websites, like, talking dirty with random online strange men. Plus, she had an active OkCupid account while dating our friend, which she insisted, "I just want to make friends." Okay, but if you're in a relationship with somebody, you better not have any kind of profile on a dating site. I don't care, make friends. No, you don't do that. So we were immediately freaked out by getting this information because we're like, she's dating our friend. So we immediately go right to him with this information, and he's just like, "No, she wouldn't do that to me. They're probably just lying. It's fine. It's whatever." And we're just like, dude, like, we're trying to help you. Like, you're sensitive. You're a fragile little thing. And when it actually comes out that she cheats on you or whatever, like, it's gonna break you. So we're like, okay, drastic times call for drastic measures. If he's not gonna just believe what friends say on their word, he wants actual proof, well, I guess we need to get some proof.
Mm-hmm.
So we decided, okay, if she is active on OkCupid, how about we just make a little account for a guy that fits, you know, all the things she likes. She was basically into these skinny little emo guys. She wanted these really attractive dudes despite herself.
She looked like a half-deflated blimp that got beat with an ugly stick that was on fire and covered in doo-doo.
Covered in doo-doo?
Yeah, because I have to censor myself on this channel.
Essentially, she was looking kind of rough.
Kinda
rough. And she was one of those ones that also wanted, like, some male model material stuff going on.
She didn't even do, like, any upkeep. Like, she smelled horrible, too.
No hygiene or personal responsibility. You gotta keep yourself smelling nice.
Or don't go anywhere. Don't leave the house.
If you want to brew in your own stench, like, don't...
Stay 1,000 feet away from me.
Just, like...
I will gag, literally.
Put on some deodorant, a nice little spritz of some smell good.
Mm-hmm.
Just brush your hair, wash your face, and you'll be pretty well set, even if you don't like makeup.
Yeah.
Just hygiene, bro.
Please.
And anyway, we are getting so salty. But so yeah, we knew her type. So basically, we weren't even sly about this.
No.
We just literally, you guys, this should have been like, in our defense, this should have been like common sense for her. She should have known, because we made hardly any effort to seem realistic in this. We went to Google Images, and like on the first page of results, all we did was just like, was it like hot emo guy?
Literally, that's all I typed in was hot emo guy.
Meanwhile, the whole time I'm like, oh, I don't know, and you're just like,
I'm like, I'm out for blood.
So, like, Shadowkisses is over here, like, constructing this profile based on, like, all this stereotypical edgy stuff that, like, she would like.
All the edgelord stuff.
I come from a realm of darkness.
And I want someone who's dark like me.
We made him a little bit older, but not too old. And, basically, got generic photos of this pale, like, shaggy-haired emo guy. And again, these were not even the same guy. These were photos of different guys. We did not even try. Like, we made no actual attempt at this. Like, we just random guys who looked vaguely similar. You know, they were kind of palish, like had similar hair, and like made sure all of them were like built.
Yep.
Because again, she wanted a guy to be perfect. But so we got all these pictures. Built that ridiculous, like, profile that just screamed fake from right on the get-go. And then, there was the moment of truth. I was too scared to do anything. I'm like, I don't know, I kind of took the back seat on this project. But, so Shadowkisses, you know, finds the profile, and, like, I'm like, I don't know, I'm feeling kind of bad about this. I'm getting cold feet. And you're just like, she says she just wants to have this profile to make friends. If that's all it is, we're not doing anything bad. I mean, you know, we'll just talk friendly with her for a little while, and if she's got no interest in you know, romantic things, naughty things, then, you know, we'll just leave the account and it'll be fine.
Yeah.
So I calmed down and was like, okay, you're right. If she's being innocent, we'll find out, and then we can just, like, even though we don't like her, we can chill out and, you know, leave our friend alone, let him do his thing.
But here's the thing. Despite only having looking for friendship on her profile, she completely fell for the veil of bullcrap that we hastily stitched together.
It was one sleepover, and we were just giggling the whole time because it was so dumb.
Yeah, she fell for it and started flirting. She made it, like, completely 100% obvious that she had a guy. Like, she told this fake account several times, I have a boyfriend, I love him, he's amazing. But then she'd be like, can you send me some nudes?
You'd be like, well, wouldn't that be unfair to your boyfriend? You know, you mentioned that you're so serious about him. And she'd just be like, well, you know, it's not that serious. If someone, you know, someone were to come sweep me off my feet and really convince me there were better options, I'd happily might consider, you know, letting him go.
Like, we straight up would say, you're my princess of the darkness. And I can't wait to take you away on our hellbound chariot.
Didn't we just, like, straight up do a fake, obvious lie of, like, I live in a castle in Romania? My parents are doctors, I'm rich. Like, girl, how can you not tell this is not a loaded bull? Like, come on.
She was dumb.
So it's feeding her line after line of this nonsense.
And, like, primarily, I was the one who did most of the talking. Because Madam was still, like, a little hesitant. She's like, I don't know. Seems kind of wrong.
She's like, she's flirting, but she's not, like, none of this stuff is actually openly, like, it's very clear that she was definitely not being super faithful to him. Because, it was hard because even though she had, you know, we were talking about, she mentioned, oh, I could be convinced to leave, blah, blah, blah. She didn't say it in those exact words.
Yeah.
She worded things in a very ambiguous way to where somebody who doesn't want to believe them, like our friend, could go, oh, that can mean different things. She didn't mean that. So it's like, what do we do? Because, like, it's kind of black and white, and I'm just like, I don't know, maybe we should knock it off. And you're just like, she is clearly trying to cheat on him. All we need is to get her flustered enough that she drops the act of like consciously thinking out these messages ambiguously. We need to just catch her where she uses plain black and white language.
And it's like, I wasn't even trying that hard. Like, I'd message her every couple of days and it'd only be like 1 or 3 like messages. And eventually I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna come out and say it. And I typed, you know, if I had a beautiful gothic woman like you who lived near me, I'd marry her.
Okay, just freeze frame here, because she always loved to consider herself like gothic, and like basically she just wore like freaking Happy Bunny shirts and like striped socks and blue jeans, and like nothing other than her like massive stomping boots would really be considered high school gothic. But it was just like,
meanwhile I'm in trench coats and knee-high boots and all these little jangly bracelets, and I'm just like, come at me!
you were like the high school, like what you expect to see when high schoolers calling themselves goth or emo or edgy or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, she's like Happy Bunny and like that monkey and all those old ones.
And her weird like black and white striped thigh highs that should have been thigh highs, but they came to like right under her knee. And they were crying.
Oh no!
And you know, I'm a heavier girl myself, but it's just the salt from dealing with Chunk for so long that has brought out this nasty, angry side.
Over here. Crying, no. Okay. Anyway, just that whole, if I had a gothic princess. She always had this fantasy of being this, like, goth girl type thing, but it was more like, she liked the aesthetic, but didn't necessarily want to get involved with the lifestyle. Mm-mm. So it was a very interesting standpoint. She had this fantasy of being this beautiful, like, classic, like, vampiress with the Morticia Adams dress, standing on a moonlit balcony, waiting for her Dracula to come sweep her away.
Meanwhile, she was wearing Happy Bunny shirts, weird jean skirts, striped leggings, and a weird ponytail in the middle of the top of her head.
He's like Roadhog!
And she had these weird bangs that were like... I'm sorry, I'm salty.
I didn't know bangs made that sound.
Hers did, they were greasy enough.
Okay, so now that we're done on that little derailment that got a little overly salty, sorry, we can't contain the salt, like we're mining over here.
Yep.
We're in the Dead Sea, it's fine. But anyway, so Shadowkisses sends that if I had a gothic princess in my area, I'd take her away.
And then Chunk tells us, I'm leaving my boyfriend for you.
Wasn't it? She was like, I'm thinking about it. Like she kept fishing for more compliments.
Like, I'm thinking about it.
Like, oh, you butter me up. That's the kind of stuff that makes me think about leaving my boyfriend. And that was the first start where we're like, we're getting text here that we can actually use as proof.
Yeah.
But basically, tell me more about me, and I'll consider leaving him.
And the whole time, I'm like gagging as I type out, you're the most beautiful creature my saintly eyes have ever laid upon. And meanwhile, I'm like,
it's like, you set my vampire heart a-fluttering.
My cold, dead heart beats once again whenever I speak to you.
It's like you breathe new life into this withered corpse. It's the most ridiculous bull. It was just a mess. And like after that, then it got to that line where it was like, you know, if someone was like you was near me, I'd marry her. And that was, I think, literally all she responded with was, it's done. I left him.
And we're screaming and clapping our hands like a bunch of weird seals and rolling on the floor.
I was just like in shock. I'm like, did she see what? She's never seen him. She's never video chatted with him. She's only seen profile pictures and like you straight. And I'm like, okay, maybe she didn't actually leave her boyfriend. Maybe it's all just talk, because maybe this is all just a weird role play thing for her.
No.
Next day at school, we run into our friend, and he is a wreck because, lo and behold, Chunk broke up with him. And that's the point where I really started to feel terrible.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, okay, regardless of what happened, he still got hurt. But at this point, it's just like...
It was necessary.
Well, and we weren't actually expecting her to truly break up with him. We just wanted to get stuff, like evidence, to give to him.
I expected it.
You always expected the worst. You're like, nah, man.
I know people. They're messed up.
But, like, you know, I wasn't actually expecting her to truly break up with him. I was just hoping that we would get evidence, because all this time she was clearly flirting, but she was being very ambiguous. She knew what she was doing. So we finally got evidence, and I'm like, well, she didn't actually break up with him. You're thinking, yeah, she did, but...
I'm like, she said it's done.
So, basically, he was a wreck. However, fortunately, with the support of his friends, you know, he got over it pretty quickly, especially when we showed him the evidence, because at that point, up until that point, he was blaming himself.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wasn't good enough, I did this, it's all my fault. And we're like, no. So basically, it went from him hating himself to hating her.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, you know, that helped him get through it, whatever, like. And that was the point when at least to my knowledge, I was thinking, like, okay, we helped our friend, we got the proof that we needed. The entire point of this whole shenanigan thing that we went through, mission accomplished, we're done. We can now just close the account, abandon it, and she'll have no idea what happened to him, and she'll never know, and we could just end the story there. Our friend is safe, she's out of our life, it's fine. And Shadowkisses at the time was like, yeah, sure, I agree with you. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, okay, yay, you know, I still feel kind of bad about that, but at least it's over and we helped our friend. So I moved my happy little butt on, thinking that was the end of it. But apparently, mind you, it was only like last year, and this happened all the way back in high school, but it was only just last year that Shadowkisses finally told me the rest of the story. She had been sitting on it this whole time. I'm like, are you serious? So go ahead and tell them what you did after my happy little butt thought that the shenanigans were over.
I decided that things had gotten a little too personal after she had called me a whore for a guy asking me out. So I decided that she needed to pay.
Basically, careful when you build grudges with Shadowkisses, because she gonna get you.
Like, I won't do anything, like, out of my way to ruin your life, but I'll make sure that you hurt for a little bit. I decided that it was time to just string her along for a couple months. Like, I'd log in, like, maybe once a week, and I'd be like, hey, and then she'd send, like, 10 messages in a row, and then I'd stop talking. And then I'd do it again, and I'd be like, miss you, stop talking, 20 messages. And it continued on for like 4 or 5 months, until I finally was like, you know what'll really mess her up?
I didn't even know this was going on, and it's just like, oh my god.
I logged in, and I wrote out this message about, hey, Chunk, just wanted to let you know that I'm not really who you think I've been this entire time, and I think it's about time that you know. And I proceeded to tell Chunk that it had been me the entire time, and that who's really the whore now?
Oh my god!
And then I deleted the account after I seen that she had read the message, and I moved on with my life.
I'm glad you waited until, like, years and years had passed to tell me this, or, like, I would have, like, legitimately been like, oh, no, I would have been really, really just like, oh, no, this is wrong. You're just like, no, I got my revenge.
Like, no, like, she deserved much worse than that after all the crap she did to everyone.
She, like we said at the beginning of the story, I could do several story times about all the messed up stuff she did, besides breaking guys' legs and ribs and stalking people. Like,
yeah,
there's a whole book of stories to be written about the messed up stuff she did. That is to say, like, still shame on high school us for participating in these shenanigans. Like, you shouldn't catfish people. It's bad, dumb high school stuff, you know? Like, I wouldn't do any of that stuff as an adult, but, like, as a high schooler, like, you don't have the same level of, like, power and, like, control over your life. You don't have a job. As an adult, you can just, like, write somebody out of your life and go off on your way. But in high school, you still have to go to school with them. You don't have a whole lot of power in the situation. So that was our way of dealing with it, even though we were being little stinkers, and it still wasn't right.
I only feel a tiny bit bad.
I'd feel a whole lot worse if it was some innocent person who hadn't gone out and broken people's bones and
No.
She gave me, okay, basically, before this goes too long, I'm just gonna say, like, she is personally responsible for quite a few of the horrific self-esteem issues I had well into my adult years. Like, I had some serious, like, body image issues and confidence issues, and I was a mess because of the stuff this girl put me through. So I can't feel too bad, though I cannot also go out and condone you going out and catfishing people. So it's a fun and entertaining story, but I have to, as a responsible adult on the interwebs, I have to say, don't go and catfish people, you guys. It's bad. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the story of this is probably the shiftiest thing we did in high school. I mean, hey, at least...
It's like the worst thing we've
like,
ever
exactly,
done.
like, we could have gone out and, like, done actual, like, really bad, destructive things like some teenagers do. So if the worst that we do is make a really obviously fake OkCupid account you could just image back search on Google. You could go just look up on Google, it was the first page.
Yeah.
Like, everything about it screamed fake. We made a really fake account and let her talk herself into a circle. So if that's the worst thing that we did as high schoolers, wasn't too bad.
No.
But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. Maybe we'll do more dual story times in the future, because we've had some interesting life experiences.
That's an understatement.
Alrighty, well, this story is already getting long, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut it off now. If you have your own crazy experiences with, like, keeping friends, like protecting friends, or if you encountered some ridiculous person in high school, if you got any interesting stories like that, feel free to leave them in the comments below. And if you enjoyed the video, please consider leaving a like, and if you want more content like this in the future, please consider subscribing. But that is all we got for you today, so I will catch you all next time. That's all for now. Bye-bye.
Bye.